Go there.
But I just opened, so they're having lots of specials and like free sticker days. Yeah. We'll have a day and we'll go. Yeah.
You have about 60 seconds. You can keep talking.
Yeah, I was wondering. I don't
I
know
was
why.
like, wait a minute.
We can ask why.
You can't make changes like that. Why doesn't it, like, my OCD can't take it.
It shows what creatures of habit
I
we are
know.
too.
I usually.
See how it looks over there. Carson, are you good?
Oh,
Maybe if that's not working.
Maybe. Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Oh, open the door. Can you open the door?
I think that's the official
I
language.
was
Okay,
the
good.
patient and they were out there.
Carson, are you all
They're,
good?
so much better. Just figuring out what to do for me.
All right. Well, I officially call to order the City of Travelers Rest City Council meeting for Thursday, April the 16th, 2026. It's so nice to have you all here tonight. We appreciate it. If you will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, and I'll ask Mayor Pro Tem Grant Baumgartner to please pray for council.
Let's pray. Father God, with grateful hearts we come to you, that we may serve you, that we as a council may serve the citizens of Travelers Rest. Father, we just ask your blessings, continued blessings upon us as a governing body, as well as the citizens in the Travelers Rest area and the state of South Carolina and the United States of America. Father, thank you for sending your son to us so that he may show us and has showed us how you want us to live. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Grant. All right, we have approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve our regular council meeting minutes for March the 19th?
Motion to approve.
Motion from
Second.
Shanice, second. Sherry, any edits? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, tonight we have our honored guest, Miss Adeline Pace. This is a proclamation for our fourth grade 10-year-old, and she is here with her. Most of the audience is her family, which is really great, and we're excited to recognize her. And Adeline, for tonight, I'm going to read this proclamation, and then if you'd like to come up here, if you have some words for council, we would appreciate it. And then we want to get some pictures she'd like for all of council, if that is appeasing to everyone. I told her, I said, it's always exciting when a princess comes to town, and so this is a big deal for us here at City Hall tonight. So your proclamation, for your information of what this is an acknowledgement from council in the city of Travelers Rest that you're doing amazing things as a young person in Travelers Rest, and this is documented for all of history. So 100 years from now, they're going to say on April the 16th that Adeline Pace was here. So we are super excited to recognize you. Whereas Adeline Pace, a remarkable 10-year-old and proud fourth grade student, has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to spreading kindness through South Carolina across the United States and around the world through her inspiring platform, Adeline's Acts of Kindness. She has created and distributed more than 1,000 Be Kind bracelets, each serving as a meaningful reminder to uplift others and inspire acts of compassion. Her message of kindness has reached all 50 states, touched countless lives globally, reflecting her extraordinary dedication to making the world a better place. She has exemplified the spirit of service and generosity by giving back to her community, including organizing numerous craft drives benefiting Prisma Health Children's Hospital. Her efforts and leadership have been recognized with a prestigious Presidential Volunteer Service Award on 3 separate occasions, underscoring her outstanding commitment to volunteering. She shared her message of kindness with a wider audience through appearances on Your Carolina Morning Show, inspiring viewers of all ages to embrace compassion in their daily lives. In July, she was crowned Little Miss South Carolina 2025, using her title as a platform to travel across the state and promote her Be Kind message to communities far and wide. She aspires to establish a dedicated Be Kind Day and a Be Kind mural in her beloved hometown, reflecting her deep belief that kindness has the power to change the world. We love murals in Travelers Rest, so we'll try to help you do that. It'll be fun. She is the cherished daughter of Dustin and Brittany Pace, an only child and a loving big sister, her tiny Yorkie companion, Chip. She's a talented singer who has earned numerous awards, further showcasing her passion, creativity, and dedication. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we proudly recognize and celebrate Adeline Pace for her extraordinary kindness, leadership, and service to others, and commend her for inspiring people of all ages to lead with compassion and generosity. Be it further proclaimed that her efforts serve as a shining example of how one person can make a meaningful and lasting impact on the world. We encourage all citizens to follow her example by practicing kindness in their daily lives and supporting efforts that bring community together in compassion and care. In witness whereof, this proclamation is presented with gratitude for her inspiring mission and with best wishes for her continued success in spreading kindness wherever she goes. Congratulations. Would you like to come forward?
Thank you so much. This has been such an honor. And if anyone wants a Be Kind bracelets, I can get you one.
For sure. Nice picture.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This is exciting. Appreciate the Pace family coming. All right. Citizen participation. We have Pastor Sharp. If you want to come on up. We appreciate you being here tonight. You have 5 minutes from council. And just as a reminder, you speak and use your 5 minutes. It's not a conversation from council, but take all the time. And I've got a fun little timer, and so when it goes off, you're done. It's nice to see you both. Appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Pastor Juan Sharp, and this is Pastor Juan Sharp II. I'm the pastor of Risen Church, CEO of Resurrection Power Ministries. We've been here in Travelers Rest for the last 23 years and uplifting and enhancing our community, working with the schools, school board, and inspiring children and families throughout Travelers Rest in Greenville County. I know some of you, I've communicated with a lot of you, and many times I remember Shanice when she first came on. But we're just here because there's a lot of things that have been taking place at the church. We had a situation, we had agreement with the administration that was here before, and some of the things that was done at the church that was promised is not being done. It's really deplorable, the conditions in which I say the workmanship is very bad, and they left our property in a deplorable, unsafe situation. We're a church, and I explained that to our administrator and to those who to be. We even had the lawyers come out. I have a lawyer, and we talked and talked, but no resolve. So before the project had ended, I tried to kind of like get some promises and put some things in place before the project was over. As you know, I'm a team player. The church has been here to serve the community. We want to work together with everyone. And the property right across 128 North Poinsett Highway, the construction company, they used our property. We never charged them. It wasn't, again, we're a team player. And so when we pointed out all the things that was left behind, they made it seem like we didn't deserve it, or that it wasn't in the contract and different things. When we first made an agreement with the water company, they told us they was just going to redo our line, dig that up, redo the line. Okay, they took our fence down, our gate down. They said they replaced the gate. They said they were going to put trees or something in front, which they are maintenance. That won't be on us. We had blacktop. Why take our blacktop and give us grass to start cutting? We didn't want grass to start cutting. They said, well, they'll maintain that. Now they're saying they don't cut grass. So now we have grass there. I sent correspondences over and over trying to get some resolve. But as of today's date, you can go by there. You'll know where our church is at 121 North Poinsett, right next to Core Alley. You can go there and literally step on the blacktop and it'll crumble. Okay, I gave them pictures, I gave them an outline. What can you do? So it's nothing being done. As a matter of fact, they covered up the water just to show the conditions or the professionalism of their quality of work. They covered up the water to cut the water on and off, the meter. So they had to find that. I said, where's our meter? They covered it up, so they had to come back and uncover it. But it's very deplorable. I have many pictures here, and I didn't know what kind of setup this was. If I can show pictures or what have you, maybe next time. I just got 5 minutes, probably got about 2, 3 minutes
Got
left.
about one.
1 minute left. So we're not trying to complain. We just want something be done and come to some resolve. They left debris. And many things have transpired. And then it's dangerous. I have a lot of kids. The thing that the drain that they took in the back, it's a 6-foot drop, immediate drop. That one of the kids, somebody can drive, anything can fall, and it's a hazardous. So I think we need to look at this a little closer and hope and pray that we can have some things resolved, because we're here to do the, what's her name, Mrs. Pace? We raising paces. We're not raising money. We're not economically. We're not trying to get monies. We're here to help families build homes spiritually. That's why we're here. And we want to be appreciated, and we want to be accepted, and we want fair service, just like everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Sharp. And Pastor Sharp, thank you for coming. You can email us those photos, and I double-checked with staff, too, and I think we're all working together and trying to take care of you in the church. So we appreciate all your patience, and we'll follow up with the staff.
Who do I email them to again?
You can email them to Shannon, and she could forward them to you. Yeah.
Have them.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And thank you for your church for coming as
Okay,
well.
so when would I hear something?
You'll hear from staff. Yeah, we'll try to follow up. It's Thursday. I'll double check on it tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, next we have Steve Rowland. Come on up. Thank you. Hold on one second. Give me just a second to reset.
Y'all aren't doing me any favors having to follow a princess and a pastor.
This is true.
Well, maybe
all
I can
downhill.
get spokesman help for my situation.
It is all down here.
Are you ready? This shouldn't take 5 minutes. You guys have heard enough from me already about this, but most of y'all know me. In case you don't, my name is Steve Rowland. I work for TK Supplies and Packaging. We are located on 27 West Road. We've been there for 7 years at this point. We know that little stretch of road, in my opinion, as well as anybody else. I think we have a pretty good track record of being a good corporate citizen, a good neighbor, trying to look out for the area, trying to help when we can. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here today. I feel like I owed it to our employees and the neighborhood to speak up a little bit. So I'm not going to regurgitate all those emails I sent to y'all because, like I said, you probably heard enough from me. I didn't even want to speak today, but something happened on Monday. Well, actually, two things happened. One, my 15-year-old got his restricted driver's license, so now I'm extra sensitive about traffic and some other things. But on Monday, I was leaving work, and I want you guys to kind of visualize where, TK is on West Road. You're facing the white condominium community. I'm turning right, heading up to Main Street. So as I turn right, I got this 18-wheeler that's pulling into our facility. I turn right, I go around him. I'm coming up West Road. Here comes a huge Hawkins tow truck doing a 1, 2, 3, 4 right there in front of the intersection where Duke and Devil Dog and their facility is. So I'm waiting on that. I get around that, no problem. That's happened a million times. So I go up to the RNS, I call it the RNS Main Street West Road intersection because you have three principal players there, right? You have RNS with two exits and entrances onto Main Street, and then RNS with the entrance onto West Road. So I pull up, and I'm 3 or 4 cars deep. There's like a truck and van and a car. I wasn't really paying attention. Go through, one guy's turning left. I'm waiting a few minutes. Finally, after about a minute or two, I'm like second in line. Guy wants to pull out from the RNS in front of me. Sure, no problem. I let him in. Meanwhile, there's a guy getting air in his tires right there, where that little spot is on RNS. And then there's a car next to him getting ready to pull out onto Main Street. So I get up, finally my turn. I'm looking left. You got to crane a little bit, to look around Duke because those trucks are parked there, little pickup trucks. I'm craning around, all right, good. Go right, look back left, doing everything you learn in driver's ed. Good to go, it's clear. Hit the gas. Next thing you know, a middle school, high school kid, I don't know, right through the intersection on the sidewalk on a turquoise Trek bicycle. I will never forget the look of this bicycle. Right through there. Couldn't see him because that car was getting, air. Looking over here, I slam on the brakes this far from hitting the kid. He never stops, just keeps on going. Like, all right, well, we avoided an accident, good. So I reset, looking left, looking right, looking left again, clear, heading out. Guess what? Here comes that guy who was trying to get out on the Main Street. He's turning left, I'm turning right, I have to hit the brakes again. So, everybody's fine, not an issue, but I just want you guys to think about what adding 196 vehicle trips that this apartment complex supposedly would add based upon, the amount of parking spots and cars that they said would happen. It's a recipe for disaster, guys. I know this does not meet the needs of a traffic study, but you got to think about everything else, not just the traffic. You got the students getting picked up, as you talked about, on Devil Dog. You got the people in the neighborhood walking up and down. You got the kids coming from the high school, walking across, going to the RNS, going to Pete's, going to downtown. You got all this going on, not to mention you got our trucks coming in, deliveries. We receive deliveries in the morning. We ship out in the afternoon. You got that. You got the Duke Power trucks. You got Hawkins. You got all this stuff going on. And you're going to add more to it. This density I don't think is appropriate for the neighborhood. And it only takes one tragic accident to make all this not worth it. So I know I've given you the facts and the data and the zoning and all that kind of stuff, but to me, it's really about what could happen at that intersection with that kind of density. Not to mention the Swamp Rabbit Trail and the slope there and the interaction between Devil Dog, the cars, the bicyclists, people coming in, people coming out. It's going to be too much. So, you guys, y'all really have a unique opportunity to determine what this city looks like for the duration. And you have the luxury of being selective. You really do, because people want to come here. And I guess, I haven't looked at my notes, about to miss something, but I guess,
All right,
there's like
you're
two or
done.
three.
Thank you so much. You
Am I
did use
done?
all 5 minutes.
No
You did.
way.
Yeah, you did.
All right,
Thank
just
you
think
so
about
much.
how
We
this fits the
appreciate
neighborhood,
it.
please. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Ordinances and resolutions for second reading, we have none. For our audience tonight, so tonight is our council meeting, and the week before is when we have our committee meetings. And so this is kind of the minutes and the reports from what we talked about last week. So a summary for you all. First, we have our Personnel Committee report for our Chair Chris.
Okay, thank you. The Personnel Committee met on April 6th and approved the March 19th minutes. And that's the notes.
Thank you. Public Works Committee Chair Lane.
The Public Works Committee met on April 6th to approve the March 19th minutes. A glass recycling and shred event was held on March 28th. Over 2,600 pounds of glass and over 700 pounds of paper were collected. Lights were installed at the Row Road parking lot. The Poinsett Highway project will begin the next phase. Work will start on the northbound side, outbound from Mustang, from Thomas Street to Highway 25. Stormwater improvements along Thomas Drive are complete, including the section crossing Hemlock and extending to the creek. Vandalism at the park bathrooms was reported and exterior lights and cameras have been installed, with plans to add a dispatch monitoring camera within the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Thank you, Lisa. Public Safety Committee Chair Byers.
The Public Safety Committee met on April 6th to approve the March 19th minutes. The committee reviewed the following from the March public safety reports. For police, the department logged 456 training hours. 5 community training events were held last month with approximately 210 attendees and led by Community Officer Blake. 1 person is at the academy and graduating on April 24th, and 1 new hire started last week, leaving 1 position open. Walmart shoplifting related arrests increased from 2 last year to 6 this year, but remain low compared to previous years. For fire, the call volume remained normal. The department logged 553 training hours. The department continues support for the Enery Career Center, and 5 firefighters assisted students last week alongside the Berea and Duncan Chapel departments. The fire department has received the 2025 Fire Safe Community Award, making the 5th consecutive year, with recognition to take place at the conference in June. The TR Police and Fire Foundation's quarterly awards event occurred on Wednesday, April 8th. For building permits are steady at 30,000 with a slight increase in permit inspections performed, and new neighborhoods coming online should continue to drive those numbers.
Thank you, Kelly. Planning and Development Committee Chair James.
The Planning and Development Committee met on April 6th to approve the March 19th minutes. Shade for the fitness court will be installed over seating areas only due to cost, and a water fountain will also be added. An RFP has been issued for construction at Dicey Langston, including the Charters of Freedom Plaza, Dicey Langston Plaza, and the Entrance Plaza. A firm June 26th deadline to have Dicey installed is in place, after which focus will shift to the Charters of Freedom. Dedicating the Charters of Freedom is intended for September 17th, which is also Constitution Day. Both TR 26-03 and TR 26-04 were moved to full council.
Thank you, Catherine. Ways and Means Financial Report, Chair Baumgartner.
All right, the Ways and Means Committee met on April 6th to approve the March 19th minutes. A motion to send the Travelers Rest Historical Society grant to full council was approved, and a motion to send the George I. Tyson Family YMCA grant to full council was also approved. That ends my report.
Great, thank you, Grant. Ordinances and resolutions for first reading. Again, for our guests, this is our, it came out of committee and now it comes to council for first reading. We'll discuss it tonight, and if it goes forward, we'll have another reading next month. First up, we have Devil Dog Lane zoning map amendment. Chair James.
I make a motion to approve 0-02-26 Devil Dog Lane zoning map amendment R7.5 to RM.
Great, thank you, Catherine. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Grant. Catherine, you have a summary for us?
I do. The requested zoning map amendment would allow the development of 36 apartment units, which will benefit the extension of sewer to benefit the subject parcels. The Planning Commission has recommended approval.
Great, thank you, Catherine. We'll open it up for discussion. We also have Jay here tonight if you have any following questions, and we have Eric Vinson representing the developer for questions as well. Open it up.
Jay, let me ask you, how many, I know that there are 36 planned apartments on this parcel, but that's not the maximum that could go on there, is it?
No, so RM allows 20 units per acre, and the number of acres would allow 45 total units would be the maximum.
Thank you.
Is there anything else zoned RM around that land?
That's a good question. In the immediate vicinity, the closest RM to the north would be Scruggs property, which is just before the hospital. Across the way behind Gateway Park is a RM portion that belongs to the city of Travelers Rest. And to the south, you're really getting into the central business district, so we don't have RM zoning located in that area.
Do you know what the price point is for these apartments?
I do not. That would be a good question. Eric Vinson is here and could answer those questions better than I could.
These are rental, not condos.
Mind coming up here if you don't mind, so we can have it. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I was asking how much would the rent be monthly?
So right now, we don't have a set number, but we are looking at market rate rent. So whatever that market supports is going to be the rent. We are not marketing the project as luxury living, so it would not be, it would be marketed more towards, you know, your average median family income that in the area. So we're not trying to hit like a high-end price point for these.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Jay, let me ask you, I don't know if you're the one to ask this, but as far as, so it's not enough to do a traffic study because of the size. If there is an issue with traffic or becomes an issue, is that a SCDOT issue? It's not, or is that on the city to do?
No, it'd be SCDOT, because the intersections would come into West and ultimately to Main. So DOT would look into those things upon encroachment permits as they were sought after during construction.
Okay, thank you.
And if I have a number of questions. I was not here in last meeting, but I did watch the live stream. From a safety perspective with the trail there, what, you know, if we start having issues, would that be something, who would look into that? Would it be us as the city with the trail, or how would that be handled if that was a concern or became a concern?
That is a good question. The responsibility for the trail is the city's. The city has taken the ownership and maintenance of that Gold Spur Trail, and the city owns and maintains Devil Dog Lane. So I believe that would kind of answer that responsibility would come to us.
Okay. And we, if I understand correctly, we don't currently have like any kind of visible site plans or layout for the project today?
No, this is a straight zoning request, not a flexible review district or a planning, plan development, so it doesn't require a site plan at time of seeking zoning map amendment.
Okay.
Jay, what was in our original comp plan for that space or that general area? Was it commercial?
The
because of
future
Duke
land
and-
use, the
Yeah.
future land use map calls for that to be commercial/mixed use.
Okay, commercial. Sorry, Cheryl, did I interrupt your
No, no, no,
question?
no,
Okay,
no.
sorry.
With the commercial type of use, though, is it not true that that would be very difficult to do on that particular site simply because it does not have the sewer development there?
So we'll get into a kind of a philosophical answer. Philosophical answer as to that piece of property. Commercial development tends to want to be on your main arterial roads. So it would want to be facing Main Street for that reasoning. The sewer question is answered by this. Anybody who developed that piece of property could work with Metro and REWA to extend sewer service to the piece of property, and it would come down to making the price point work for the development of that property. And you could probably ask Eric that question as well, but I believe that's what's driving the need for the density to offset the development of the sewer coming to the site.
So in a sense, if, it would seem to me that the definition that is in our comp plan of promoting, quote, smart growth could also include the addition of sewer infrastructure where it currently is not available. And it would seem that that's exactly what's occurring in this particular entrance with the development that Eric is looking to put in.
Yes. So within a municipality, we would want the properties within the municipality to be served by sewer. The governing entity, because we're not the governing entity on that anymore, is Metropolitan Sewer Subdistrict. To speak off experience with them, they typically, if they have sewer around a potential project, they will require gravity sewer to feed that project and will not allow on-site wastewater management.
If I could go back to the commercial about the question about the comp plan, when you say mixed use, what exactly does that mean
So
from our
commercial mixed
perspective? Yeah.
use involves the mixed use of residential.
Just wondering, okay. I think, sorry, was somebody else? Okay. It's such a, I've driven past it 3 times today, and I'm stuck on, it's such a weird piece of property. And I think where my hangup is the proximity to the high school. It just makes me feel like this is not a bad development. I just don't like that that high of density is right beside the high school, and knowing it's just market rate. I'm just thinking 20 years from now, what is going to sit there in the backyard of the high school? I do have some concerns about traffic. I think it might be fine. My vote tonight will be no. I just can't make it make sense in my head for this particular area. I just don't like it, but I respect council's decision on that. It's just but again, it's a weird spot of land, and I understand the developers and you guys trying to make something make sense from it.
Now, the alternative with the current zoning, the way I understand it, is that would be for single-family. Like, what would be the possibility of putting, with the current zoning, what would be?
Right now, under the current zoning, it is R 7.5, which is 7,500 square foot lots, and you're roughly 2.28 acres or something like that, which is, I mean, maybe 150,000 square feet. So I think you would be talking a max, am I doing my math right, 20 lots, which I don't believe would be achievable because you would have to build a road through it and take away space to do that. It would be tough to do 7,500 square foot lots in there, but it would be residential single family.
Okay, so that would reduce, so just, right now, we're saying that the proposed would be 36 units, max would be 45 if it was RM.
That's correct.
As it stands now, what would, or could the max number of units potentially be?
I think it would be about 20.
Okay, okay.
If this zones out, if the zoning is changed to RM, that also means that are there not, because I know in front of you, you have no design information in front of you at this point, correct?
I do not.
So if this does get designed, or I mean, if it does get rezoned to RM, are there design standards that the developer must abide by within the zoning itself?
It is. The Travelers Rest zoning ordinance, section 613, requires a review of that, which includes materials, size, height, parking, landscape, tree protection. All of those things figure in. I might have missed a couple in there as well, but it looks over the entire site design and building design within the code.
But in this particular instance, that does not have to be approved by the Planning Commission or by council. That is simply a staff review of of those materials at construction, correct?
That is correct. Going back real quick to your question, just so y'all have the, it would be 13.
13.
13 houses. Sorry, my math was bad in my head. I did it in the calculator.
This,
okay.
Our agenda says R5, not 7.5.
That seems to be a misprint on there. It is R 7.5. We don't have a R5.
Good note.
I
right.
saw Eric shifting, and I wanted to make sure that
There's no
we were
R.5.
getting it accurate.
Any further questions, comments?
I had a question for Mr. Benson. I think last week when we were in committee, we had the question about where the entrance and exit was going to be on Devil Dog or on West. Is there any nobody really knew. Can you elaborate on where the?
We haven't done civil engineering on the site yet, but we do have options for access on both, if it makes sense, access on one or the other. We'll work with DOT to make sure the access is put in the best location. Also, we'll work with DOT and also with the city staff to make sure that the site plan supports the best access location. But I guess our first order of business would be the safety of the access and whether or not we would benefit from having two or one or a partial one-way in on one of them and two-way on the other, but those are going to kind of work themselves out when we go into the civil engineering and conversations with staff and the DOT.
My concern was that the Devil Dog Lane was purpose-built for the school, for access to the school when the school was built. It was never intended to be a city street, a residential street. And converting it to a residential street, although that's not there's no difference in looking that up as what is a residential street worth, but that was a lane specifically for buses. And that's all it was ever used for the last 10 years since the high school was built. So adding in traffic is a huge thing. And I go up that thing every day, 2 or 3 times, and it's my life in my hands from every day going up that little lane. It's really not intended for cars. It's a bus lane. So.
And it may very well be that we don't access that road at all. That's something that just has not been determined. We do have West Road that could serve as primary access, and West Road could serve as a secondary or exit only. There could be an option there, but we're open to being a partner with the city to make this the best development it can be. I do want to say that. And we would work closely with staff to make sure it was done properly.
Have you had any conversations with the school district?
I have not personally, and I can't speak for, I'm not serving as the developer, I'm representing him in this, but I cannot speak definitively I know that he has had conversations with the school district about the piece of property. They own a strip that is between the property that we have under contract and the trail. So the school district owns the piece where the trail goes through, and he has reached out to discuss them actually purchasing that so that we could do something neat on that section and address the trail. It's not critical for the development. We could still access the trail. We would just have to be able to get access, through an easement if we don't own that little strip of land. But that's the only conversations I'm aware of, and I was not part of those conversations. But I do know that he's reached out to see if they would be willing to grant rights of access or sell that.
Administrator Herman, I did want to ask, this requires 2 readings of council for complete approval, correct?
Councilmember Baumgartner, that is correct.
Can I get a little bit of clarity? We talked about it last time on-street parking. Chief, I think you helped answer that question. And can you please explain to me, is on-street parking allowed on Devil Dog Lane, and is it allowed on West? Because I'm concerned about the amount of parking needed for this many units.
Yes, on-street parking is allowed on any city street where curbs are. The issue we have with Devil Dog Lane are and this is a school issue, parents picking up their kids there. That is against school policy. It's not allowed. Parents do it all the time, but it is against school policy. They make announcements throughout the year telling parents not to do that. That's something that we can address. We address it often across the street, across Main Street where Cox and Paris View is. We'll get complaints, so we have officers go over there and run parents off, so you cannot park along this road just to pick up your student from school. So that's an issue, and that's because they're blocking those streets. Now, if Devil Dog Lane is being blocked, then we'll also run them off. You can't just stay there for a temporary time to pick up your student just to avoid going through the line. That's what they're doing.
And so on West is not a city street?
It is a city street.
It is a city street, okay.
It is. So we can, if cars are stopped there and someone's still in the car, they're technically not parked, so they're stopped in the roadway. So then we have to get out with them and find out why they're stopped in the roadway. So, but the school is the one that really pushes that issue about not wanting, and I think it's a security thing too, where you don't want cars sitting and where buses are coming out and sitting across the street blocking streets. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I had one more. So I'm not concerned necessarily that they would be built there so close to the school because we do have housing built on the other side with two different subdivisions. That being said, knowing it's a short road and a cul-de-sac, is there any way that we have control over the entrance and exit need to be on West versus Devil Dog? Eric?
Offer council an option if y'all have concerns over site planning concerns, if that's the primary concern of some of the members. We are not opposed to submitting a plan and asking for a flexible review district or something that would provide the council a plan, if that would benefit the council. But at this point in time, you know, we just don't have that information as far as where the accesses will be just because we haven't done that work. I will say that we will access in a manner that is going to be safe and beneficial. We do not want to create any more traffic for not only the residents living there, but for the community from an access standpoint. But I do feel comfortable working with staff on a plan that would work, but if council has primary concerns over a plan, you know, we'd be more than happy to bring forward a plan, you know, and show council. Or we could bring forward a zoning district that would require a plan of us up front. But that was not the direction that we had initially gone, and based on our conversations, we felt that it was just a good spot. I wouldn't be here before you tonight if I didn't think it was a good spot for smart growth and for infill and to activate that part of Main Street. So, but like I said, we want to be partners with the city and work with you on an acceptable plan.
I think it's good for council to note too. I don't know if spoiled is the right word, but with flexible design review, we got to see behind the curtain, and this is a straight zoning. So once it's zoned, if they could sell it to someone else, and that is straight zoning. So with flexible design, we get a little bit more of a hand holding and holding the thumb on expectations to us. So I appreciate the offer for flexible design because I think that's what we've gotten used to. So again, this is straight zoning, and it's a little bit more simple, but they also haven't taken all the time and expense of making the pretty pictures for us and fleshing everything out.
I have another question around the septic and sewer. So it's probably a couple in succession, but so currently there is no sewer service to that entire neighborhood, including the multifamily that already exists there?
So it's all R7.5 right now. There is a rental house on the piece that's close to West. It does have sewer service by gravity because of where it sits high on the road. It could go back down west where the sewer is. But that sewer is so high that it cannot serve the rest of the property. And so, so they would have to resolve getting the sewer up through the other draw on the other side, I believe is where it would come, and it would feed into the property and then be serviceable. So they would be extending the sewer service line, or sewer lateral.
So the housing that's currently there, which I believe is next door, correct? Is there a development to if you're looking at the map to the left of the 2.2 acres, or I might be misremembering?
The one property, one building that is on the property, the first house you get to on the right-hand side after you pass Devil Dog Lane, that is on the subject property.
Yeah, no, that home, but
That
the
it is.
surrounding area, is there any other housing, or is it all mostly commercial? Because there's a Duke Yard and then a couple commercial across the
That's right.
street. But I thought there was other residential immediately adjacent to the property at hand.
Downhill,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
West Village, yes.
Yeah, so are they on sewer?
They are.
Okay.
They're lower, and then it comes up, it kind of falls back off, and then comes back up to Devil Dog Lane.
Okay, so the issue is more topography with the sewer and whatnot. It's not that they're trying to bring new sewer into a whole area.
That's right. It is the topography that has prohibited the sewer coming up there before, and it's achievable on the other side of West.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask you also, if council is concerned with the design component of this, which actually we're not voting on tonight anyway, it's just simply on the straight zoning aspect of this.
Yep.
But if the design component is an issue, is this worth looking at flexible review for this simple project or not?
So, that's a kind of loaded question. It comes down to how many flexible review districts do you want in a town? Every time you create a flexible review district or planned development, they have their own written zoning ordinance is technically what they have. And so everyone that you create and come along that way has to have a large amount of oversight every single time. And so the more that we accrue, the larger amount of oversight we have on them. Other municipalities have gotten out, specifically the city of Greenville, got out so far with so many of flexible review districts and planned developments that they're trying to pull them all back now and went to a different zoning platform in order to do that because it became very intensive. The more you have, the more intensity there is.
Is that, could that be an issue for Travelers Rest based on what we already have in place?
It'd be tough with our staff level to be able to handle all the changes that would come about inside of flexible review districts those exist so that you have creative solutions to the sites that need creative solutions. And that doesn't say that you don't deem that this is a site that needs a creative solution. So there's a lot of theoretical to the answer. It's not like here's the single like yes, no. It's one of those where you have to think through how many flexible review districts do we need in town, how many planned developments, how large should they be when we have them, what are we trying to accomplish, multiple uses, planned development, or flexible review district where we have one singular use but we want to maintain control. Prior to my arrival here, when the zoning ordinance was written out, that's why Section 613 was included in that. Because what you had was RM, and it was being used for both multifamily and townhome development, and there was no oversight other than subdivision process, if subdivision process was used. So there was no oversight as to buildings, how they fronted roads, how it was parked, how all those things, and that's where 613 came about, to maintain control over multifamily developments.
So if this motion fails tonight, if it fails first reading, the developers cannot come back to ask for a rezoning or a different classification for 1 year, am I correct?
Partially correct. The correct part is they could not come back to a zoning map amendment requesting RM. That you requested RM, you can't, so that keeps you from coming back month after month saying, I'm gonna try RM again, I'm gonna try RM again. And so, but it can come back for a zoning map amendment at a, typically at a lesser than density. So it could come back as flexible review district and request less than 20 units per acre, for instance. That would be an acceptable, where there would not be a waiting period. It could come immediately. But if they could not come back for RM for a period of a year.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and say my concern is parking, traffic. I'm not real comfortable with having 36 to 45 rental units that close to the school versus residential, which would be, more home ownership versus rental, which would be, residents coming and going. It does not match the zoning around it, and for that reason tonight, I will be voting no as well.
I have a question. How many flexible review districts do we have currently?
That's good, and I don't know the answer. I
Okay.
wish I had an answer to that immediately off my top of my head. I could get that information back, but obviously not tonight. we have several around town. We have several, mostly flexible review districts, so we have very few planned developments, but they operate the same.
And you were talking about the amount of oversight. Is that during the, I imagine during the building process, but once the project's complete, is there still a large amount of oversight?
So any change that is requested during the process would come back to the Planning Commission if it was deemed by the staff to be a major change. So you have minor changes, you have major changes. Minor change would come back to Planning Commission, a major change would come all the way through council. And so we would have an oversight, it would go through a process and another process. And we've seen those. Bowers Road had minor changes, which is Villas at North Valley. That had a minor, no, that was deemed a major change, came through everybody, so.
But once the property is built, then the oversight's finished. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, unless the
Unless there's another
developer owned
change.
it, decided to add something or do something. So it is an ongoing process. Anything that would be added to that property at any point in time
I see.
would necessarily have to come back and meet the criteria that was designated in the final development plan of the flexible review district.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, let's mentally prepare for voting, but any final comments or questions? For our Furman students, we appreciate you guys being here. This is simple majority, so we need 5 out of 9 of us. Okay, anybody else? All right,
This is first reading.
first reading, yep. All those in favor? We got Grant opposed. Those 2, 7. Okay, motion is denied.
It was 3 no's.
Oh, there's 3 no, oh, I'm sorry, you mean 3 yeses?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There was 2 yeses.
Oh, okay.
I think I was right.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, all right. Stay in your lane, Shannon. All right, we will move forward. We have another, again, Eric and Steve, we appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much. All right, we will move forward with North Main zoning map. Again, that's Chair James.
I make a motion to approve O-03-26, 314 North Main zoning map amendment R10 to R7.5.
Okay, you've heard that motion. We have a second.
Second.
All right, second from Sherry. All right, Chair
I would like to
James.
make a motion.
Do you want me to read a description?
Oh, yeah, sorry, give
Okay.
us the summary first.
Okay. The current zoning will not allow this property to be divided into 2 legal properties. This requested zoning amendment will allow the property to be divided into 2 legal properties, subject to the property's 15,000 square feet minimum. The Planning Commission has recommended approval.
Great, thank you. All right,
And
open it
I
up for
would like to
comments.
make a motion to table this zoning map amendment until such time that the developer has full recorded survey of that required minimum 15,000 square feet of property.
Okay, we have a motion to table until that requirement has been met from Grant. I'm
I'll
happy to-
second that.
Okay, all right. Second from Catherine. Grant, you want to give us a little summary of kind of your thinking behind that?
My thinking behind that is right now, it appears that the developer does not have the land needed to actually go forward with this. And rather than, and that's already inside of what the Planning Commission sent over to us. It seems to me, just to put it out there, if he doesn't get the 15,000 square feet, this can never go any further anyway. If we make a vote, it goes through, he still doesn't get it, it just kind of clouds the issue. I was simply saying, we know that Jay has already said that he has no intention of ever approving this until the fact of the 15,000 square feet is a proven fact. Let's just put it out there, let the developer do that. If he gets that done, then he can come back before us again and we can take it up again.
I like that. I think one of my worries was that, 10, 15 years from now, that just kind of gets pushed to the side, or we're not all here to kind of monitor it if the property owners don't decide to sell to them. So I think that's smart to table it. Any further questions or comments? Great. All right, all in favor?
Yeah, this is in favor of the amendment, my
The
amendment.
motion to table.
the
Yeah,
motion to
yeah,
table.
motion to table, okay. All approve, all right. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. All right, we will table that motion for North Main zoning. All right, moving forward, old business, we have none. New business, we have our approval for our Travelers Rest Historical Society grant. And Grant, that is you.
I do. I make a motion to approve the Travelers Rest Historical Society grant. That is my motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion or summary?
I'll give you a brief description. This is a grant arrangement for those that don't know. It's an opportunity for the city to act as a conduit between the county and the Travelers Rest Historical Society, transferring $2,327 in county community funds from Councilor Benton Blout's allocation to the Historical Society. So this is simply passing through Travelers Rest and acting as a conduit.
Any further discussion or note? All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carries. We definitely appreciate Greenville County Council and Benton supporting our Travelers Rest Historical Society. Excited about that for them. All right, next we have our YMCA grant approval, Grant Baumgartner.
I make a motion to approve the George I. Tyson Family YMCA grant.
Second.
Second.
All right.
Excited second from Shanice. She wants to go swimming.
We need a pool.
This is
Yeah,
also
it was
a
good.
grant opportunity for the city to partner and act as a conduit for the state and to help supply funds and upgrades to the Travelers Rest YMCA, specifically a long-discussed addition of a pool. So providing the state is able to come through, we want to act as a conduit to pass this on and do our community part in this also.
Thank you, Grant. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you for that. And that just required one reading. Okay, next we have executive session on the agenda. I make a motion to enter executive session for the discussion of negotiations to propose contractual agreements, discussions of proposed sale or purchase of property, receipt of legal advice, settlement of legal claims, or discussions of the public's agency position in adversary situations, discussion of development of security personnel or devices, Project Cornerstone. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Grant. All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Thank you for that. For our guests, we will go into executive session. We will return. I don't have a good idea how long we will be in there, but you're welcome to stay, or you could check us out on YouTube for when we come back. But we appreciate you being. Thank you for our Furman students. Janice, do you know any of these guys? No. Okay.
She's like, let me at 'em.
We hope that you had plenty of information for your paper. All right, thank you so much. Council went to executive session to discuss negotiations. Let me start again. Council went into executive session to discuss negotiations to propose contractual. It's those peanut butter crackers I just ate. It's stuck in my teeth. Okay, getting it together. Contractual agreements, discussions of a proposed sale or purchase of property, receipt of legal advice, settlement of legal claims, or discussions of public agencies' positions in adversary situations, discussion about development of security personnel or devices, Project Cornerstone. No action was taken. I make a motion to adjourn executive session. Second from Kelly. All in favor? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, miscellaneous matters. Shannon Herman, do you have an administrative update for us?
Thank you, Mary Emanon. Just really briefly, we are entering our very busy season. Concert series kicks off in May. We have the garden clubs working with us to redo our planters, both the hanging baskets and the planters on the ground. So a lot of traffic moving through. You should all have received an invitation to the Dicey Langston Donor Dinner. This is our official kickoff for the Dicey Langston campaign. This is a dinner where we have donors come and to meet the project and to consider some large sponsorship opportunities. So take a look at that and see if it's something that you're interested in.
Thank you, Shannon. I just had one big thank you to our police department and Officer Blake and Chief for putting together the Poinsett video today. I think that helped a lot. And then Lacey with Travelers Rest here shared the video too for Poinsett Highway. So appreciate that extra communication was really nice and welcome. Does anyone on council have anything for the good of council?
I just had to ask, are we getting a lot of applications for the veteran, honoring the veteran flags,
I
banners?
believe we only have 2 flags left.
Okay, great.
That's great.
And we did put out a clarification. It does not have to be a veteran from TR. You can honor anyone you want to who was a veteran.
And we're doing that again in the fall for,
But again, in the
okay.
fall series.
just-
While we're thinking of that, Mary Asbell that came and spoke with us from VFW, we're going to have,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I think it's, I don't want to quote the date. I want to say May 26th, if that's a Saturday. We're going to have a Memorial Day event here at City Hall. And so that'll be fun, and they're going to lead that and have a speaker, and so that'll be a fun addition. Great.
I want to say thank you to those that went to the women all did, and publicly say thank you to Fox for the news coverage that they did. That was
was great.
an absolutely awesome story. If you have not seen it, it was really good.
They nailed all of our talking points, and it was just like, yes, finally, like a really good story that we could use over and over again. Shanice and Sherry, appreciate you guys coming to that. That was fun. All right, anyone else have anything for the good of council? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Great, thank you guys for a little longer night tonight. We appreciate it. Good business happening.
It is.